Okay, so in this lecture, I'm just going to show you that how you will interpret the p-value and how you will calculate the p-value. As p-value is the probability that you will accept H naught or reject H naught. So in most of the hypothesis testing, maybe you have also conduct such like tests that what is p-value, different software are using for the calculation of p-value, and then on the basis of that you decide to accept your hypothesis or to reject the hypothesis. So in this lecture I'm just going to show you that how you will calculate and how you will interpret the p-value. So what is a p-value and how you will bring the evidence related to the data, that should the evidence is against the H naught the null hypothesis or the evidence not against the null hypothesis. So the p-value is the probability. Basically probability of what? Probability which assume the null hypothesis is true of observing a value of the test statistic more extreme than the value we actually observed. So basically when we calculate the p-value, normally in statistic we use that when the p-value is greater than the level of significance. Level of significance mean, for example, if a producer producing different product and the quality measure of that he producing 95% of good product, but in 100% there is a 5% chance that there will be some defective product occur. So now the producer keep a level of significance of 5%, that mean in 100% product, in 100% production there will be a room for the defective, and that is 5%. So if the p-value is greater than that 5%, so if the data you collected from that lot, from that huge lot, so if the p-value is greater than 0.05% the level of significance, then it's give us the indication that your null hypothesis is accepted. If this p-value, if the probability is lower than the level of significance, then we will say that your null hypothesis, the evidence related to the null hypothesis is not so strong. So we will reject H naught, and in that case we will accept the the alternative hypothesis. So the calculation of the p-value depend on whether the hypothesis tail is one tail or two tail. So what is one tail and what is two tail? So the test of the tail you can understand from the alternative hypothesis. Alternative hypothesis will be less than, alternative hypothesis will be greater than, or it will be this one. And the null for this one will be, if you want to construct a null hypothesis, it will be, so if it is less than, so it will be greater than or equal to mu naught. And for the null hypothesis for this will be, mu will be, so if it is greater than, it will be less than or equal to mu naught. If it is not equal to, so null hypothesis will be mu is equal to mu naught. So now we will check on the basis of these and we will calculate the p-value. So if the alternative hypothesis, if it is mu is less than or this one, so for this purpose we will construct this, and it's showing us that it will be less than, so it will be a right tail test, it is a left tail test. If the alternative is greater than mu naught, so for this purpose we will sketch this and it will show that this will be one tail test, and we say that it is greater than a specific value. If the alternative is mu is not equal to mu naught, so this is a two tail test. Okay, it will become in this section and it will become into this section. So the calculation of the p-value depend on whether the hypothesis test is one tail. So is it this tail, left tail, right tail? So left tail or right tail is considered as a one tail test, because this is one tail, this is one tail. And the two tail test is this one. So on the basis of this we will calculate the p-value. So in this lecture I am also going to show you that how you will calculate manually p-value. But before going to that, you need to understand. So assume the value of the test statistic z is z naught. So on the basis of alternative we will decide, we will calculate the p-value. So as I already mentioned in the previous, alternative is mean is greater than mu naught, so it will be, the p-value will be at this. For this one, if p-value is less than, mu is less than mu naught, so the p-value you will mathematically, for the standard normal distribution, you will write it like this, z is less than, for that z is greater than, and p will be lying over this place. If it is not equal to, so it will be a two tail test. Two tail test means the value of p will be at this or at this. So that is why we will divide the level of significance in two portions, and then we will decide, we will calculate the p value. Now the question is how you will interpret the p-value. So in this section, I'm just going to tell you that how you will interpret the result of p-value on the basis of that p-value, what kind of decision you need to take, should you need to accept or should you need to reject. So the p-value is the probability calculated assuming the null hypothesis H naught is true of observing a value of the test statistic more extreme than the value we actually observed. A small p-value is evidence against the null hypothesis. So a small value say that the data we have observed, basically the data is the sample data which we collect from the big population, and on the basis of that we did analysis and we observed would be very unlikely if our null hypothesis were true. If you believe in data more than in assumption, then when you see a low p-value, you should reject the null hypothesis. So because the level of significance is 0.05, let's suppose, so if p is less than level of significance 0.05, so H naught will be rejected. Reject. Okay. A large p-value indicates that there is a little or no evidence in the data against the null hypothesis. If p is greater than, let's suppose, this value, normally it depends on the analysis, then we will accept H naught. Okay, when p value is high or just not low enough, data are consistent with the model from the null hypothesis and we have no reason to reject the null hypothesis. Formally we say that we failed to reject the null hypothesis. Now the alpha, I will discuss that value in great detail, that what is level of significance, but at this stage I don't want to discuss that. In this stage I just want to show you that p value will be doing what. If p value is less than level of significance alpha, okay, then we will consider alpha is what? Alpha is a type 1 error. Type 1 error means this is the portion of defective. Okay, if it is less than 0.05, we will reject our null hypothesis. In this case, we will accept alternative hypothesis. So in this case, alternative hypothesis will be accepted. And in this case, the alternative hypothesis will be, this is alternative hypothesis will be rejected. When you accept H naught, you will definitely reject alternative hypothesis. The p value is the probability calculated assuming the null hypothesis H naught is true of observing a value of the test statistic more extreme than the value we actually observed. When the p value is low, the null hypothesis must go. Okay, we will not accept null hypothesis. It will be rejected. How small does the p value need to be to reject? So this is now a question. We need to understand this. The p value should be less than, let's suppose, 0.0 to reject H naught. So if it is less than this one, so this value, we will use this value based on our intuition, based on our experiment analysis, based on our experience. If this value is greater than, the computer does not reject H naught. So if it is greater than 0.05, the analysis hypothesis testing will be more strengthened for the support that the null hypothesis will be accepted and alternative hypothesis will be rejected. So now in this example, I am just going to show you that how you will calculate this p value, and I will use Z distribution, which I will discuss in later stages. But in this example, I just want to discuss that how you will calculate p value manually. Normally, you can use SPSS, you can use Minitab, you can use Excel. They will automatically calculate this p value, and from that p value, you will be easily be able to decide that should we need to accept or should we need to reject. So this is a very simple example. Please have a look at this one. The marks obtained by student at a large number of colleges are known to be normally distributed with a mean of 25. Now they take this data from the population. This mean is the population from different colleges. They calculate the data from different colleges, the student data, and they calculated the mean. So this is my mu is 25. So you can see mean is 25. A random sample of 36 students show an average number of mark of 27 with a standard deviation of 5. What conclusion should be drawn? So we say in the first terms that the null hypothesis that the mean of the college student at a large number of colleges are known to be normal with a mean of this. Alternative, if this is equal to alternative as I already mentioned, it will not be equal to. So basically, when it is greater than, it's showing 1 test. When it is less than, it's still 1 showing. But when it is not equal to, we not know. For example, if a person claims that in my pocket there are 100 rupees, So the null hypothesis that in my pocket are 100 rupees. Alternative will be no, there are in your pocket there are not 100 rupees. So maybe it will be less than 100 or maybe it will be greater than 100. So that is why we use this sign and we use two-tailed test. So maybe the money in the pocket will be less than. So if it is less than, it will be in the left tail test. If the money is more than 100, so it will be in the right tail test. So that is why we distribute this distribution, because they mentioned normally distribute. So we sketch the normal distribution and we split that distribution in two parts. What conclusion should we draw? So on the basis of this, what should we need to do? So let we use level of significance alpha is equal to 0.05%. So what is level of significance? Level of significance that I have been mentioned that in your production maybe there is a 5% defective proportion. So we just keep that defective proportion for 5% in this example. What is sigma? This is standard deviation. Normally we use this sigma is unknown and the sample size n is greater than 30. So we use S instead of S. So this is a case I don't want to go into that detail. So that is why we want to test statistic. We want to use this analysis. This is a case of the mean hypothesis when n is greater than 30 and when the population standard deviation is unknown, and when you have the sample standard deviation, then in that case we will use this test statistic. So now in this test statistic I want to feed these values. You can see students show a random sample of 36, n is 36. Students show an average. So this average is the x bar. X bar is 27. So in this x bar I put 27. The mean is already they given 25. So minus 25 divided by the standard deviation of the sample is S. So S is 5 and divided by this is n. N is 36 because they took a sample of 36 students. So we just put and we calculated 2.40. So this is called calculated value. This is called calculated value of Z. Okay. So now we want to calculate the p-value. Is the p-value is supportive or not? So since the calculated value is 2.40, fall in the range, so we will now. This is a normal distribution. Our level of significance, for example, if I say that in my pocket there are 100 rupees, yeah, or for example, if I claim that in my production I am producing 95% of good product, so there is a room for 5% rejected product, defective products. So now what we will do, because it's a two-tailed test, or another claim, another example, if someone say that I have 100 rupees, I will say no, you not have 100 rupees. So now we need to divide this claim that it should be less than 100 or it should be greater than 100. So in this scenario, we will divide this 5%, which is alpha by 2. So alpha is 0.05. So alpha by 2, when we divide this, it will be 0.05 by 2. So it will be equal to this, because we are not sure that in your pocket there are more than 100 or less than 100. So in order for this paramesis, we will divide this alpha. Alpha is 0.05. So 0.025 will be in the left tail and 0.025 we will put in the right tail. So now because 0.025, so this is called the accepted region. This is my accepted region. Accepted region. Okay. This is my accepted region and this one is called rejected region. This one is also rejected region. Rejected region above and rejected region in the lower, the left tail, and the rejected region over the right tail. Now, because the accepted region is when we subtract the rejected defective parts, we will get the accepted region. When we exclude, because the total area is equal to 1, this is basically 1 minus alpha. When we exclude this minus alpha, this will be the accepted region. So we now want to calculate this accepted region. So one way is to integrate while using the normal distribution function, probability distribution, which is very, very complex. We wouldn't be able to do that. So for this purpose, we will transform the normal distribution to the standard normal distribution, and we will use the table for this. So now you know 1 minus, because 1 minus 0.025 is what? So 1 minus 0.025 when you calculate, when you use your calculator. So 1 minus 0.025 is equal to 0.975. So it will be 0.975. 0.975. So now we want to go into the Z table. So I will open the Z table and we will locate this area, that which specific Z value lie before ahead this value, which specific Z value represent this portion of area. So I'm just going to the Z table. So now you can see this is the Z table. You can see these are the value. Now we are looking for 0.975. So you can see this is 0.36. No, our area is greater than 0.9. So 0.975. You can see this is 0.974. So exact value is 0.975. You can see. And where is it? 0.975, 1.9, and the column is after 2 decimal places 1.96. So you can see 1.96 of Z value showing the 97% area. So now we will write 1.96 in the Z value. Okay. So that is why we write 1.96, because the area, when we find out, we locate this area, the value of this is 1.96. So this is 1.96. As you people know that the mean of the standard normal distribution is equal to 0. So this is the mean now. Mean is equal to 0. And 50% area lie at this side and 50% area lie at this side. So the same area will also be lie at this side. So basically when we, because the test is 2-tailed, so minus Z alpha by 2, so we will just write minus, because this portion still representing minus 97%, so 1.96. So this is our threshold. This is the boundaries of the accepted region. So now the one boundary is 1.96, the other boundary is minus 1.96. So these are basically the p-value. Okay. So now if we have a look that the calculated value is lying where? The calculated value is lying here. 2.40 will be lying at this stage, because this is 1.96. So 2.40 will be at this side. 2.40. So 2.40 is the calculated value which is lying in the rejected region. So that is why the claim that H0 is equal to mu is equal to 25, this is rejected. So the probability showing that the p value is less than, the probability of this value is less than the level of significance. So we will reject H0 and we will accept H1. The mean accept H0 mean that the mean of the student is not equal to 25 on the basis of the evidence from the p value. So at this way you will calculate the p value, and after that you will check that is your p value is greater than or is your p value is less than. So when it is less than the level of significance, we will reject H0. If it is greater than, we will accept the null hypothesis. So in this example we have already calculated that our calculated value is lying in the rejected region. So that is why we reject the null hypothesis.